Welcome to part 2 of this tutorial series. In this video we will be working on the animation. So now let's get started. Let's open up the car blend file. And now what I'm going to do is I will go to File, then Append and locate the robot model, then go to Collections and then the robot. So now here you can see the robot model is appended. So now what I'm going to do is I will create some empties for the car. So let's hide the robot model for now and focus on car. So before doing anything, we need to clear the parent if there are any. Let's select all the parts of the car and hit Alt P, clear and keep transformation. There is an important note here. Make sure the car model which you are using to transform does not have any modifiers. All the modifiers are being applied to the model, like the subsurface or maybe solidify modifier, or any kind of modifier has been already applied to the model. And the second thing, also make sure that you have applied position, rotation and scale. And then right click on it and set origin to geometry. Because we need to cut the pieces of the cars for the animation. So in order to do that, we have to do all these steps. So here I'm going to create an empty. Let's select this cube empty and scale it and place it like here. Roughly match the shape of the car. It's okay for now. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's separate the wheels. Here I'm selecting the tires because tire will be not parent to this empty. Here I selected the first tire and place it in a new collection called wheels. Similarly, I will select the other tires and also place them to the collection. All the wheels are headed to the collection. Let's rename it to car wheels and hide it for now. Now select all the parts and then the empty, and now hit Ctrl P and then object. Now here you can see our whole car is parented with this empty. For the wheels, I'm going to use another empty, which is the circle one. Rotate it to the right axis. Duplicate the empty for the other wheels as well. And also make sure that the empty is in the center of the wheel. And then parent the wheels to their respective empties. Let's select this main empty and rename it to car main body. Let's create another collection for these empties. So I have a new collection and call it car empty. So all the empties will go in this collection. So now everything is set up. Let's bring back our Transformers model. Now go to the pose mode. Let's first hide the car and the wheels first so that we can work with the transformer better. So now what I'm going to do is, I will give him an ideal standing pose. So I'm moving his hands down. Maybe back a little bit. And select this pelvis one, slightly rotate it. I'm just making a good standing pose here. Nothing fancy. So after I had done the pose, what I'm going to do is, I will go to frame number 95 and here I will add a keyframe and then go to this keying thing and select this location, rotation, scale and then hit I and your keyframes has been registered, as you can see. So now I will go to frame number 20 and at here I want to make a laying pose. Something like this. We also need to place the hands as well. Let me know that I'm very roughly doing it right now. Let's pull the leg back a bit. You can also unhide the car so that you can see the car placement. The thing we have to do is, we have to bend his torso in such a way that it is under the car. As you know, I'm doing this for the tutorial purpose only, so I will not go into detail pose. At the keyframes as well, like about here it is okay. So what I'm going to do is, I will select the main car empty, and in this pose, select the armature, and then go to the pose mode, and now select this torso bone, and now hit Ctrl T and bone. Now you will see is, the car will lift and follows the torso movement of the robot. Here you can see. So this is the basic idea of the animation. The car will be lifted up and the robot came out. So here is the time for you to be creative and do whatever animation you want to do to your car pieces. In this video, I will share you some examples so that you can understand how the car pieces are animated. So before doing that, let me share you a trick which I had used in this animation a lot, which is the zero scale animation. So let's say you have a cube and you also have a sphere. Let's scale it a bit. Select the cube and then go to this scene thing and select this location rotation scale and then go to about frame 10 and then hit a keyframe here. And then what you have to do is just go one frame further, which is frame number 11, and then hit S and then numpad 0 and then enter and then hit I to add the keyframe. Now as you can see, let me just hide the sphere for now. So as you can see, on frame number 11, our cube is vanished. So this is what I need. Now unhide the sphere and go to the frame where the cube is vanished, which is frame number 11, and hit a keyframe there. And then just go one frame back, which is frame number 10, and then again hit S, then numpad 0, and then enter, and then register the keyframe. So now as you can see, the cube is just replaced to the sphere. This trick I had used a lot in the animation. It looks flat in an idle motion, but in a motion, it looks very cool. So here you can see as an example, this also looks very good when the motion is really fast. So back to our car. So let's start with this door first. So select this door. I want to make an animation like before the robot transform. I want these doors to open, but here's a problem. The pivot point of the door is in the center, which we don't need because our door has to be rotated on this axis. So what I'm going to do is, I will go to the edit mode and select these side edges and then hit Shift S and then cursor to selection and tap back to the solid mode, then set origin to the 3D cursor. Now our door is rotating fine. Now select all those objects which supposed to follow the door movement and pairing them to the door. And we will be doing this for both of the doors. So now our both doors are ready for the animation. If you find these relationship lines very annoying, you can hide this. One thing important here, I will not be create any bones for the car model. The main body is already parented to the robot, so I will animate each part separately. So now select both the doors and come to frame about this and hit a keyframe here. And now go some around here and then open the door here and also this door about here and then hit I for the keyframe. The doors are opening. So now what I'm going to do is I want a bouncy animation effect, like do something like this. So I can achieve this effect by adding another keyframe here at the middle, like here. And these keyframes, select all these keyframes and move them about here. Now you can see a bouncy animation like this. You can also offset the animation of the bows like I did here to get a little variation. So now you get a vague idea how I animate each pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I will add a little bit of turbulence before the car transformation. So here is the example. You can see the car is little bit shake, then it transformed to the robot. So I want that here. So what I'm going to do is I will select the main empty and go to frame about here before the door open at frame number 4 and hit a keyframe here, and about frame 7 now. Just rotate the car a little and hit another keyframe here, and then copy the first keyframe because we need to get the rest position back. A little turbulence, little shake is happening before the transformation which we need. So now let's select this part. So as you can see, I will be animating this part like this. So what I'm going to do is first slice these parts, because as you can see here, the separate pieces of this part is animating. So I want to slice this part to the individual objects. So how I'm going to do it? We will tap to the edit mode. Then we will select the connecting edge. And then we hit V to break the connected vertices. So now we will select a single face here and then hit Ctrl L. Now it will select the lower part because we already has splitted the edge. So that's why the lower part and the upper part has been separated. And now hit P and selection. Now this part is being separated now. Let's quickly join these circles to the mesh. Now we will slice this part also. So tab into the edit mode. Bring the knife tool. You can use XYZ key for the straight lines and slice it about here. And again hit the V key to detach the vertices. And now I will select this part. Sometimes as you can see, it does not detach the vertices. So in that case, we will manually select the faces. So here I manually selected the faces and then hit P and then selection. Now here as you can see, this part is being separated. Let's quickly join these circles to the mesh. Again, we will do the same thing here as well. Try to slice the mesh in the straight line and then hit V. As you can see here, it is selected easily because the vertices has been detached here. Now this part also being separated. So here as you can see, these parts are being separated now. So now I can animate this. So I have decided now that these headlights and these grills should also be follow the movement of this part. So I will parent them. But let's first select all the pieces of the headlights and then joining them to make them a single object. Here I selected all the pieces. Now hit Ctrl J to join it. Same goes for the other headlight. And also for the grills. And then parent it to the sliced object. So it is now being parented. Same goes for the other part as well. And now I can animate this. So about here, I will add a keyframe here. And then go to same about here. And then slightly move it forwards and then hit a keyframe. it is very slow now. So let's bring these keyframes here. Now it's okay. Now the same thing, we want that bouncy effect. So we will add some keyframes here and then move them about here. I also want to make a rotation animation here. So I will add a keyframe here for both of them and then slide rotate them about here and then hit keyframe for both of them and also give the bouncing effect here as well. It's very subtle here, but it will add something to the animation. Now it's time to unhide the robot here and go to the pose mode. Let's animate his hands in a way that he is standing, and also let's refine his hand movements. So let's select the hand controllers and try to make an animation that he is moving out his hands from the car. Let's also pose the fingers like he's making a fist. I'm doing it very roughly, just trying to show you how the process works, because as you can see, it's a tutorial. I can't go that much, but yes, I will show you each of my steps which I have done to make that animation happen. So here you can see I'm trying to move his hands under the car doors. And also don't forget to add the keyframes as well. Again, I'm doing it very roughly, but you have to spend time to get it right. So now what I'm going to do is make a in-between keyframe, and on this keyframe, he will put his hands on the ground. So as you can see, it is very rough animation, but you get the idea what I'm doing here. So now let's come to this bonnet part. So it is also being divided into separate pieces. So let's divide it into some separate pieces. Select this edge and then hit V to detach the vertices, and then select it and separate it from the mesh. And then select another here. We also need some edge split here as well. So select it, hit V, and then separate the selection. So now we have these parts, but these parts have a same origin. So what I'm going to do is right click on it and set origin to geometry so that each part has its own pivot point. Now it is easy to animate it. And let's animate this piece as well. The bouncing effect is very important to the Transformers animation. This bouncing animation effect feels the transformation animation more rigid and real. Here you can see I have splitted some other parts as well. So here you get a brief idea how I animated each part. So it is all about spending time and make the animation that works with the flow. I'm slicing out this number plate also to give it a random animation. And also important part here, when your parts are going inside the car or inside something and it is no more visible to the camera now, you can insert a zero scale keyframe so that it can vanish from the scene. It's totally up to you to animate each part depending on your interest. You can see references from the film and then reference the animation from there, or make the animation from yourself. It's completely up to you. The basic concept is only this: the robot parts will hide under the car, and when the car part starts to animate, the robot parts will come out and forming the robot. Here I'm refining the standing up animation. Another tip for you guys, if you have some car parts on your robot as well, like I have these toes on the robot as well, try to animate those parts that they are moving and then going to the position that the robot has. Like here you can see, I'm animating the door in such a way that it is going to the position of the robot's door. Here I selected this part and let's split it up this as well. Cut this part from here, separate it. Let's bring the pivot point here for this part, and here for this part, and here for this part. As you can see here, I'm animating these parts like this because I'm making some spaces here for the robot parts to come out from the car. So as you can see, this front part, I have rotated it and placed it about here to match the robot part here. So now it is all about giving time to the animation. I myself spent too many days to get the animation right. So here is my finished animation file. All the parts are simultaneously moving. Like here, as you can see, this front part, these are the car parts right now. And when they are moving and strike to the ground, and about here, they're replaced to the robot model. Now let's come to this side. You already know that we have sliced this part. Now what is happening is, these car parts are opening and the hand is coming out from it. Let me show you the hand keyframes as well. So as you can see, when I go to the rig and I solo the hand, you can see that a hand is packed in such a way that it is hidden under the car model. So here you can see there are some scale keyframes are going on. See, these whole robot parts are hidden under the car. I want to show the tire keyframes as well. As you can see, the tire is also having keyframes, and then it goes, and then about here, it turns into the robot wheel model. This windshield is also divided in several pieces, and all the pieces have their own animation, as you can see. All the pieces are animating and then disappearing, and this part here is hiding the disappearing animation. So every piece here is hand animated. As you can see, this head part is also rotated. Here you can see the door. The light gray door is the car part, and then it's turned to the robot part, also having the 0 keyframe animation. Let's come to his legs here. Let me solo it for you. So as you can see here, every leg piece has its own animation. Like here, as you can see, this gear has the scaling animation. And then the back parts popped out. And then when he is standing, all the pieces come together. This back wheel, as you can see, just also have the keyframes and then turn into the robot model. And when our robot has completely stood up, I had done some mini animations to these parts as well to create an illusion that some parts are still moving. The back part, as you can see here, it is also divided in several parts, and each part is animating. Whenever you're doing an animation of a car part and a robot part, it should make a transition, like a car part is going away and a robot part is coming out, so that it makes a very smooth transition there. For example here, this part is going just about here and then clips through it and then just vanished. But the viewer cannot see this because when this part is going, the robot part is coming out. Here you can see. So try to make an impact point where you can make the transition from the car parts to the robot parts. So this is it for the animation part. In the next part, we will be doing the lighting, rendering and the compositing. So stay tuned and peace.